Ron Howard's story begins far from the bright lights and myth-making machinery of Hollywood, in Duncan, Oklahoma, where he was born in 1954 into a modest household shaped by hope more than certainty. His parents, Gene Spiegel Howard and Rance Howard, were young actors with more ambition than opportunity, navigating a profession that offered little stability and even less guarantee of success. The family lived simply, often relying on faith, discipline, and belief in the long game rather than immediate reward. When Gene and Rance made the courageous decision to move west in search of better prospects, they did so without safety nets or assurances, carrying their dreams into a cramped apartment where every dollar mattered. In that environment, Ron absorbed lessons that had nothing to do with fame and everything to do with persistence, humility, and respect for hard work, values that would quietly anchor him for the rest of his life. A childhood surrounded by determination. Growing up in a household where creativity was inseparable from struggle gave Ron an early understanding of reality behind artistic dreams. His parents rehearsed lines at the kitchen table, talked about auditions that didn't materialize, and celebrated small victories as if they were major triumphs. There was no illusion that talent alone guaranteed success, and that honesty shaped Ron's worldview from the start. Instead of being shielded from difficulty, he was included in conversations about effort, patience, and resilience. This upbringing created a child who was observant rather than entitled, curious rather than demanding, and grounded rather than dazzled by the idea of stardom. Even before he stepped in front of a camera, Ron understood that achievement was built slowly, through consistency and character rather than shortcuts. An accidental beginning in acting. Ron's introduction to acting came not through ambition but circumstance, when he landed a small role at just 4 years old in The Journey. What might have been a passing childhood experience quickly revealed something more enduring, a natural comfort in front of the camera and an ability to listen, react, and connect without self-consciousness. Unlike many child performers, Ron wasn't pushed into the industry by parental pressure or grand expectations. Instead, his parents treated acting as a job, not an identity, and they remained vigilant about preserving his sense of normalcy. That distinction proved critical, allowing Ron to approach performance as craft rather than validation, and to remain emotionally steady even as opportunities expanded. Becoming America's child star. At the age of 6, Ron stepped into a role that would define an entire era of television when he was cast as Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show. From 1960 to 1968, audiences watched him grow up on screen, his quiet expressions and sincerity offering comfort in living rooms across the country. Opie wasn't flashy or precocious. He was thoughtful, earnest, and emotionally present, qualities that mirrored Ron's real-life temperament. Fame followed quickly, but his parents worked tirelessly to keep it from distorting his reality. Nearly all of his earnings were saved, daily routines were protected, and his education remained a priority. While the world saw a beloved child star, Ron remained a child first, learning responsibility alongside opportunity. Navigating adolescence in the public eye. As Ron entered adolescence, the transition away from childhood roles brought uncertainty and long stretches of waiting. The industry that once embraced him enthusiastically became less predictable, and auditions didn't always lead to callbacks. These quieter years tested his patience and sense of identity, but they also strengthened his resilience. Instead of rebelling against the instability, Ron used the time to observe the industry more closely, paying attention to how stories were constructed and how decisions were made behind the scenes. When he returned to prominence in 1974 as Richie Cunningham on Happy Days, he did so with maturity, self-awareness, and gratitude rather than entitlement, qualities that distinguished him from many of his contemporaries. A new kind of stardom. Happy Days transformed Ron Howard into a national icon almost overnight, with Richie Cunningham becoming a symbol of optimism, decency, and youthful aspiration. The show's success brought wealth, recognition, and cultural influence, Yet Ron remained strikingly unaffected by celebrity excess. While others chased headlines, he continued to show up prepared, respectful, and focused on the work itself. Behind the scenes, however, a quiet shift was taking place. Ron found himself increasingly intrigued, not just by performing but by understanding how stories came together, how directors shaped tone, and how collaboration turned scripts into shared experiences. The camera no longer felt like the destination. It felt like one part of a much larger, creative process. A question that would not fade. Even at the height of his acting success, Ron carried a persistent internal question that refused to be ignored. Acting fulfilled him creatively, but it did not fully satisfy his curiosity or ambition. He began asking himself whether his role in storytelling might extend beyond performance into authorship and leadership. This wasn't a rejection of acting or gratitude for his success. It was a desire to grow. He spent time watching directors work, asking questions, and imagining what it would feel like to guide an entire production rather than one character. The idea of directing slowly transformed from curiosity into conviction, and with it came the realization that continuing to act might ultimately limit the path he felt called to pursue. Walking away at the peak. In 1980, Ron Howard made a decision that stunned the entertainment world. He stepped away from acting while Happy Days was still at its height. To many, the move seemed reckless, even foolish, but for Ron, it felt necessary. He understood that comfort could become a trap, and that fear of loss often prevented meaningful growth. Leaving acting was not an act of rebellion or dissatisfaction. It was an act of faith in his instincts. He believed that the skills he had developed, discipline, collaboration, empathy, would serve him just as well behind the camera. What looked like a risk to outsiders felt like alignment to him, and that clarity gave him the confidence to move forward. Learning the craft of directing. Ron approached directing with humility, aware that success as an actor did not guarantee competence as a filmmaker. He studied relentlessly, sought mentorship, and embraced early projects as learning opportunities rather than statements of ego. His early films, including Splash in 1984 and Cocoon in 1985, revealed a director with a keen sense of tone and emotional rhythm. These films balanced humor with heart, spectacle with intimacy, and accessibility with sincerity. Audiences responded not just to the stories, but to the feeling they carried. Recognizing a voice that was confident without being overbearing, it became clear that Ron Howard was not experimenting. He was establishing himself. Building a creative home. In 1986, Ron took another pivotal step by co-founding Imagine Entertainment with producer Brian Grazer. The partnership combined Ron's storytelling sensibility with Grazer's bold creative instincts, forming a company capable of shaping projects from conception to completion. Imagine quickly became synonymous with quality, versatility, and longevity, producing films and television series that spanned genres and generations. Ownership gave Ron the freedom to pursue stories that mattered to him without compromising integrity or vision. It also allowed him to support other creators, fostering an environment where collaboration and trust were prioritized over short-term gains. Defining films and lasting impact. Over the decades, Ron Howard's filmography grew into a body of work defined by emotional clarity and narrative precision. Films like Parenthood and Apollo 13 showcased his ability to translate complex human experiences into accessible, deeply resonant stories. In 2002, A Beautiful Mind marked a career-defining achievement, earning Ron Academy Awards for Best Director and Best Picture. The film demonstrated his mastery of storytelling that balanced intellectual depth with emotional authenticity, reinforcing his reputation as a filmmaker who respected audiences while challenging them. Rather than chasing trends, Ron consistently focused on stories rooted in humanity, resilience, and connection. Personal challenges beyond the spotlight. Despite professional success, Ron's life was not untouched by personal hardship. Like many families, the Howards faced challenges that required patience, compassion, and perseverance. Supporting loved ones through difficult periods tested emotional strength and reinforced the importance of unity. These experiences deepened Ron's empathy and informed his storytelling, reminding him that real life rarely fits neatly into narratives of success. Rather than distancing himself from hardship, he met it with responsibility and care, prioritizing family above image and choosing privacy over spectacle. Loss, memory, and reflection. Loss has been an inevitable companion along Ron Howard's journey, bringing moments of grief that no amount of achievement could soften. The passing of his mother, Jean, in 2000 marked the loss of a guiding presence who had shaped his values from the beginning. Years later, the death of his father, Rance, closed a chapter defined by mentorship, belief, and unwavering support. The loss of longtime friends and collaborators further reinforced the fragility of time and the importance of honoring relationships while they exist. These experiences did not diminish Ron's optimism, but added depth to it, reminding him that meaning is found not in permanence, but in connection. Understanding wealth and purpose. Financial success followed Ron Howard's career naturally, the result of consistent work, thoughtful choices, and long-term vision. With an estimated net worth of around $200 million, he achieved a level of security that afforded him creative freedom and personal peace. Yet Ron has often emphasized that wealth is meaningful only when it enables autonomy and balance. For him, true success has been the ability to choose projects with integrity, protect his family's privacy, and invest in ideas that outlast trends. Money became a tool rather than a measure, serving values rather than defining them. A life defined by evolution. Ron Howard's legacy is not confined to a single role, film, or era. It is defined by evolution, the courage to change direction, the discipline to learn new skills, and the humility to start over when necessary. From child actor to director, from performer to producer, from public figure to private family man, he has navigated each transition with intention. His career reflects a rare balance of ambition and restraint, creativity and responsibility, vision and patience. Rather than clinging to past success, Ron has continually asked what comes next, allowing curiosity to guide him forward. A story still unfolding. Ron Howard's journey from Duncan, Oklahoma, to the pinnacle of global storytelling is a testament to perseverance, adaptability, and heart. It is a life shaped by thoughtful choices, meaningful relationships, and a deep respect for craft. While his accomplishments are extraordinary, his values remain profoundly human. His legacy lives not only in the films he has made, but in the example he sets of how to pursue ambition without losing empathy, how to succeed without forgetting gratitude, and how to evolve without abandoning oneself. In that balance lies the true story of Ron Howard, still unfolding, still inspiring, and still rooted in the simple belief that stories matter because people do.